Hello, all of you vaingloriously wonderful people. This is the Imponte Ruiner, and I'm about to find out if it'll off-road. This is the second most voted for vehicle this week, coming in with a whopping 582 votes. You can vote for the vehicles that you want to see featured in upcoming Will It Off-Road videos by clicking on the link in the description down below, and we're off to a terrible start. Of course, there was a comment on the screen there that probably hid most of that. I got hit by Sven and then bumped into Commander Hobo. So Sven wasn't aware that we were starting, and because it's raining for him in game. It wasn't raining for the rest of us, only for Sven. It looks like it could be raining, and the wind is howling like it's raining, and I think we even hear thunder once, but for the rest of us, it never rained. Once again, thank you for the comments, but once again, I edit these a little far ahead, and because of that, I don't know what the comments are going to be, so I can't, like, reference them as we go through. So, sorry about that, but thank you. And while you're clicking in the links in the description down below to vote for vehicles, make sure you go ahead and pull up that Will It Off-Road bingo card and click Generate Card, and then either on your phone or your computer, play along with Will It Off-Road bingo. And if you do manage to score a bingo, then throw that in the comments down below. Or come brag about it in our Vainglorious Discord server. Again, there is a link in the description down below. But I think it's just discord.me/Vainglorious. Pretty sure that works. If not, the actual long, weird letters and numbers link is in the description down below. So the Ruiner is not a bad muscle car. I mean, it's not the fastest thing in the planet or on the planet. It's definitely not got the best grip, but being a little bit slower among muscle cars, we've seen this trend a lot lately, that not having the most power actually winds up to the car's advantage when it comes to off-road, because we don't get as much wheel spin. I know the wheels are spinning like crazy right there, but it's not to an extent that makes the vehicle difficult to control like a lot of the more powerful cars. You can actually use that wheel spin to your advantage, like I kind of did to bring the back end around, without really risking the car just spinning out on you, because it's just not strong enough to do that. So the slower ones actually do wind up getting a lot better times than some of the cars that are quicker on just regular racetracks or even just driving around in lobbies. So, you know, off-roading is its whole different thing. It is not anything you can compare to driving on the street, which is why we're, you know, near the top, under the 3-minute mark. The Ruiner's doing really well. Even on this last little climb here, the back end struggling to find its footing, but it still managed to keep moving forward up and over the last rock. And we're there, 2 minutes, 57 seconds. So will the Ruiner off-road? Yeah. That makes it actually the second fastest muscle car up Mount Chiliad. About 15 seconds behind the GTX. But about 2 seconds ahead of the Gauntlet Classic. So not bad, really, in terms of muscle car performance. However, in terms of everything else we've tested, out of 239 vehicles as of this video, that time of 257 is only good for 65th place. So pretty far down the order as far as, you know, overall, but still at least it gets to take home bragging rights of a podium finish amongst its class. So that kind of helps. Again, it still looks like it's going to start pouring down rain at any second. I don't know how well you can hear the wind howling. Yeah, you can hear it there a little bit. I'm pretty sure if it got loud enough. But sounded like it was raining this whole time, but it's perfectly dry for us. Everybody except Shen, so he had a really rough time because he's in the Ruiner 2000, which is a little bit more powerful. Has a little bit more grip, but since for him it's sopping wet on the mountain, yeah, he didn't have a good time. So poor Sven, rip. But you know, kind of makes up for it for what he did in a recent Rockstar News video. Yeah, he did. By the way, in that Rockstar News video, if you watch it at the very beginning, the one that was the Thursday right before this video, he hits my door and takes it off. Yeah, no, he confessed it's 100% intentional. He claims running over or into my car when we got to the abandoned hotel was an accident, but I don't know how much I believe him. Anyway, there's the thunder and lightning. So yeah, just very weird that we weren't actually getting the actual rain. Actually getting the actual. Ooh, that's some grammarine there, boy. What are you gonna do? Maybe learn to speak. That would be one option. Anyways, Ruiner struggled a little bit there over some jumps, led to an unfortunate rollover, and then it struggled to find its footing to get back down the last little bit, but it's back underway now. See if we can avoid the tree of many crashes, and indeed we can, mainly because I've learned how to avoid the tree of many crashes. And now it's just the tree of occasional crashes. So I guess we have to rename it. Oh, I said the hiker flying. That was pretty good. Sorry, it just cracks me up when we hit the hikers because we all kind of set out to take them out. It's kind of part of the challenge now. We're down, kind of sideways, 2 minutes 38 seconds flat, which means we're gonna watch somebody fly over the edge. Nope, apparently not. We're gonna go back to the top of Mount Chiliad though and fling this car off the side. By the way, if you're questioning my design sense in this car, please don't. This is one of the rare, quote-unquote, NPC modified vehicles that do still appear in GTA Online. Drive around pretty much any muscle car. Roughly between the hours of 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. at the 3 Los Santos customs that are in the actual city. And these will spawn eventually. There's this one that comes in the orange and black with a bunch of really gaudy visual upgrades on it. And then there is I think it's a sea wash green variant as well. They don't sell for very much, but I do like collecting the NPC modified cars just because, I don't know, sometimes they have some colors on them that you can't obtain in LSC. Sometimes it's just a matter of saying, hey. As a matter of fact, I don't think you can get quite this shade of orange, if I remember right. I could be wrong on that. But, you know, it is kind of hideous looking, but oh well. Some developer or somebody within Rockstar designed it, so blame them. And that's also why it doesn't have a custom plate. They're the only cars that I do not put custom plates on are the NPC modified vehicles. So just leave them alone. Yeah, this thing is struggling to get down this mountain. Doesn't help that there's a massive SUV in the way that's now backing up the hill. Yep, he's just going backwards now. Good job, that commander. Into a tree. Ouch. The Ruiner is taking a beating a little bit by its own body parts. I don't know if that was mine or Commander's just went flying by. But coming up to the tunnel, over Fat Cubed, missed the tunnel. But we're going to have a really good tunnel entrance in about 4 or 5 weeks' time on a vehicle that was recorded recently. It was really, really good. I think I heard Sven's parachute open at one point back there. Rolling around, just really, truly a struggle here. Yep, definitely heard Sven's parachute. It didn't seem to really help him all that much, though. Somebody has a really obnoxious horn. I can only imagine who. And now we just kind of have a melee of cars trying to get through. And can't because I'm kind of stuck for a second. It's the second time I've actually gotten a car stuck down there. Finally get it turned around and then just managed to hit the wall. That was just enough to make the hood fall off. The bumper's about to fall off on the back there. It's pretty close. Back onto my roof again, roll it back over, and finally get the finish here. 2 minutes, 35 seconds. So we'll take a look at the damage on the Imponte Ruiner. And that is going to be all the windows and lights gone. The hood, the right door, and the right front fender missing. The rear bumper severely damaged. There's severe body damage and bent wheels. And we will take a look at the support vehicles. Commanders definitely did not fare very well at all. Pretty smushed up. That is going to bring us to our next vehicle, the Truffade Z-Type. This is one of my favorite vehicles in the game, and apparently was somebody else's favorite as well, because they voted for it 593 times, and I think it was one person that did that, honestly. So this is the most voted for vehicle this week, and again, please go vote for the vehicles that you want to see featured in upcoming Will It Off-Roads. We only have a few more of the Casino DLC videos left where voting doesn't really play a part. And then we're starting to trickle out these videos. Matter of fact, by the time this video goes live, I think we'll be done with Casino DLC stuff. I'm pretty sure it will have all come out by then. Like, I think this video won't go live till, like, November? I could be wrong. The order's a little bit messed up right now and a bit of a question mark because of the release order shenanigans that Rockstar recently pulled with the Jugular, where we all thought the Jugular was going to be next, but then they skipped a week after the Zion. They didn't release anything. And then the next week they stayed on Southern San Andreas Super Autos for the Hellion instead of going back over to the more expensive in-game website. And so I'm waiting to see what happens this week before I adjust my release schedule. But you'll still get to see. Actually, this car may wind up going live this week. Yeah, this video may wind up going live the same week I'm doing the voiceover for it. It's hard to say. Pushing our way up, though. Struggling quite a bit. The Z-Type is a fantastic car. For the longest time, you may remember this car was the fastest in a straight line in all of GTA. Like, beat everything. Of course, you know, before a lot of the DLCs started coming out. But for a long time, it held that. What it doesn't do, though, if you've ever raced one, is it doesn't really have the best turning radius. It needs a pretty wide berth to turn, and it doesn't have the best grip because it doesn't have any spoiler options. And that's what you can see me struggling with. The car is incredibly powerful. It kind of sounds like a Dominator if you listen to it. But an incredibly powerful car, incredibly beautiful car, but one that just lacks the grip to really be able to put the power down in the dirt. It's not to say that it's not getting a bad time, or that it's getting a bad time, but it could be a lot better if it just had something to aid in that traction. Something to just help it out a little bit. But still, other than that, it's been a very pleasant, luxurious drive up the side of Mount Chiliad. In a car, you know, that if this were real life would, you know, probably sell for like $20 million. And I am driving it up and down a mountain a couple times. As one does. Because that's just what you do in GTA. You have more money than brains. So, coming around to our last little climb here, kind of slowly coming around to it at that. Back end doesn't play nice, gets me in a weird angle. Struggle to get it back over to where it needs to go, but finally found that footing. And we are up in a casual 3 minutes, 7 seconds as Commander flies by. Will it off-road? Yeah, but, you know, it's over that 3 minute mark, so that's kind of our line of what's really good versus, yeah, technically it made it to the top. That is good enough for 6th in Sports Classics. It is 1 second faster than the Viserys and only a half a second slower than the 190Z. So, you know, it's in good company as far as the cars that it's surrounded by. However, overall, out of 239, it barely stayed in the top 100 by being the 100th car. So, there is that. So he barely stayed in the top 100. Going back down the hill, it's, you know, all about brakes in something this heavy, which you can probably see. I constantly am on the brakes. I guess it is a little bit hard to see with this one. Though, wasn't on the brakes enough. Got a little too much speed, hit the wall, rolled. And now it's a matter of, can I get enough grip to get back up on the trail? And I'm being very, very gentle with the throttle now, so I don't go flying off. By the way, if you think my car is all black, it is not. It is actually, the primary is black on the actual roof and the hood and the body. But then the bumpers and fenders are very, very dark burgundy, with a black pearl on top of them to darken them, based on an actual classic car that resembles this one quite a bit. If you know what that car is, go ahead and put that in the comments down below. Here's a hint. It is a Bugatti. But anyways, Bugatti's been around a long time, and a lot of people don't realize that. Bugatti has just existed making unbelievable supercars since back before supercars was even a word. So it's kind of cool. You can tell I'm not really on the throttle too much. I'm kind of just enough to keep it moving, so you don't really hear the engine a whole lot. I'm just wanting to keep that speed down because this thing, even though it has good brakes, all four wheels lock up, and so you lose a lot of control. So now that we're down into a straighter bit here and not as much downhill, I can open the throttle back up. I need to take the turbo off this thing. Ow, into a tree. Doesn't make sense for this car to have a turbo. I don't think the technology existed back then. Or if it did, it wouldn't have been used. This would have definitely been a naturally aspirated vehicle. Just going to take turbo off. I don't race it that much, if ever. I think I've raced it once in the past 2 years. So yeah, I need to take turbo off. There's better sports classics cars to race these days. So definitely got too happy on the throttle there. Caused the back end to come around as I started to turn in. Totally my fault, not the car. But there we can open her up. Now that we actually have some asphalt underneath our tires. And we are down in our controlled descent. 2 minutes, 46 seconds. So, as Sven goes flying into traffic down the road there, we will go back to the top of Mount Chiliad. There's a helicopter buzzing somewhere in the distance that I can hear. And we'll do a damage descent with a couple cars behind me. Should be a Fister of some sort and another Truffade of some sort. I didn't really... Whoa! Okay, yeah, there goes the Fister. Commander rocketed past me. And all-wheel drive to help him get a lot of speed off that ramp. And apparently the same is true for Sven, because, man, he's flying. I think that's Sven in that car anyway. Yeah, yes, okay. Tried to read the name above the car as it bounced around. So, yeah, they got quite a launch out of there. It looks like Commander is taking a beating in that little car, though. Man. So far, we've only lost our hood, so not too bad. Is that all we've lost? Was there a bumper on this thing? I don't remember. You'd think, as you know, I've been staring at the ass into this car for the past 5 minutes. I'd remember if there was a chrome bumper back there, but I don't remember. Maybe there was, maybe there wasn't. I don't know. We're going to say no. We're going to say that it never had a bumper. Knocking Commander out of the way because he's just a little too slow. Don't get in the way of top speed. And, of course, that top speed sent me hurtling into a boulder. I hear the train. I haven't actually heard the train with the horn and everything in a while, so we must be taking our time getting down here. In fact, we might even get to see the train. Nope, not quite. But I did hear it go roaring overhead. Kind of a weird entry into this tunnel. Don't know who just helped me through there, but somebody knocked me through by accident. Oh, it's Commander again, returning the favor of me knocking him off the path earlier, I'm sure. Not intentionally. I mean, all this calamity you see, I mean, we kind of roughly aim for each other, but it's never anything intentional. But that was an accidental slick stunt right there. I loved my pirouette down. And we're down 1 minute, 48 seconds. We'll take a look at the damage on the Z-Type, which is all the lights, most of the windows, and the hood is gone. Severe body damage and bent wheels. And that is going to do it, once we take a look at the sport vehicles anyway, that is going to do it for this week's Will It Off-Road. Don't forget, go vote for the vehicles that you want to see featured in upcoming Will It Off-Road videos, and come hang out with us on the Vainglorious Discord server. The link is in the description down below. Until next time, I'm Brandon, reminding you to stay vainglorious.